Overview of name resolution. Now, in Windows 10 devices, communicate over a network by using names in place of IP addresses. Devices use name resolution to find an IP address that correspond to a name and such as a host name. This session focuses on the different types of computer names and the methods to resolve them. Now remember, we have IP addresses to every machine in the network, so that we can identify those machines can be identified in a network. So in a network, if any machine you want to connect, then you need to have the IP address on that machine. So when you have IP addresses, then you can they can be identified in the network, and we have IPv4. So we have IPv4 addresses, and we have to assign IPv4 addresses to these devices, these all machines, so that they can communicate to each other with the IP address. Now we are not able to remember the IPs because IP is a number, and humans are not able to remember too many numbers. Numbers are very difficult to remember, but we can remember the names. As you see in your mobile, you saved all the numbers, all the mobile numbers with the name, because you can't remember all those numbers. You have hundreds of numbers in your mobile, but you have saved it with the name so that you can easily remember the name, but you can't remember those numbers. So just like that, in the network, every machine has an IP address, but we cannot remember the IP address to identify the machine. So if suppose I want to connect some machine, so I need IP address to connect. Remember, we need IP address to connect that machine. But the problem is we are not able to remember those numbers. So if you are having 100 machines in your network, so it is not possible for you to remember all those numbers of those machines. So we can do what? We can use name resolution. In place of the IP address, Windows 10 machines we can use to communicate with the name. And we can assign a unique name to every machine, so that if we want to do the communication to the particular machine, we can do that by using the name of that machine. So what is name resolution? Now, name resolution is the process of converting computer names to IP addresses. That means, remember, the communication will always done on IP address. It will never done on name. It will always done on IP address. So what we need is to convert the IP name to IP. So when I do access the machine with the name, then my machine will know the IP of that machine. So the process of knowing the IP, it is called name resolution. We can say it is converting the name to IP address. So name resolution is an essential part of a computer networking, because it is easier for user to remember the names than abstract numbers, such as an IP address, IPv4, and even IPv6 is more difficult than IPv4. So Windows 10 supports a number of different methods for resolving computer names, such as DNS, Windows Internet Name Services, WINS, and localhost or lhost resolution. So Windows 10 supports these different methods to resolve the name. We have localhost name, that is LM host. Then we have also DNS, we have host file, we have Win server also. So basically what happens in early days of networking, when there was no big networks are there, so there was not much requirement for the name resolution there. So for the small networks, what the administrators do, they have used the host files. Now that host files consist of name and IP address. That means in the host file it is written there in the host file in a text way, like this is the name of the machine and this is the IP address of the machine. So if you are having 10 20 machines in the network, in old days we are not having not much names and IP address to remember. So in a network we have a small network, say then that time. So what the host files was used, in the host file you have a name and IP address written in that host file. So when any machine wants to get any name, any IP address, so it will look for the name in the host file. So when it look for the name in the host file, it will find that this name means this IP. So suppose I want to connect some machine. So what happened? Every machine has the host file. Host file, it's a normal text document. So they have the host file in their machines, and in the host file they have all the names of the system and all the IPs of the machine. So this is the name and this is the IP. Now suppose this machine name is A and this machine name is B, and the IP of this machine is 1 and this machine's IP is 2. So what happened? They have all the names here, like it will say like A means the IP is 2 and B means IP 1, and this machine also has the same host file, and in the host file it has also written that A means this IP and B means this IP. So every machine in the network, whatever machines you have 2 machines, 3 machines, you have 10 machines, all the machine has their host files, and in the host files they have written all the other machines including their own machine's name and IP. So when suppose this A machine wants to connect to B machine, so we human understand name, so we give what we want to connect B. We will say this machine that I want to connect B. So what this machine will do, it will check the host file. What is B? So B is here, and what is the IP of the B? It is 1. So it will use that IP to connect this machine. So always every machine look for the host file for the name. So whenever you give a name in the machine, your machine will look for the host file to resolve the name. Now when the network grows and it becomes very big, and nowadays in internet we have billions of millions of names and billions of different sites we access through the name. All the sites which you access with the name, actually you are accessing the server of that site. There is a server who is hosting the site and you are accessing that server, and you are giving the name of that server. So when you access any site, basically you are accessing the name of the server. So we can do that because there is a DNS. So when the network grows, and in an internet now we have thousands of different sites and millions of different sites with different names. So all of them we can do connect with the name because of the different thing, and that is called DNS. Now host file will not work for that. Now in a host file you can't have thousands and millions of name and IP there. It is not possible. For now, the host files are not used now. So instead of host file, what Microsoft did, Microsoft created the Win server. Microsoft created the Win server. Before the Win server, Microsoft used the NetBIOS name, that is called LM hosts. It used the NetBIOS protocol. It uses the LM host to resolve the name. Now NetBIOS is the different way. NetBIOS it works on LM host worked on the NetBIOS name. NetBIOS names are the 14 character simple name in capital. So suppose if you want to give this machine a name, so you will give the 14 character, maximum 14 character. You can go less than 14 character, but all capital and straight name, no hierarchical. You can't use dot and something like this, dot domain or something. You can have a simple name, and that means one name you give to one machine that is you cannot use anywhere in the world. So NetBIOS works like broadcast. It works on broadcast base. That means there is no host file now. Now for LM host resolution, for NetBIOS resolution, you don't need the host file. What happened? You will give the name in your system. Suppose in this system I want to access the B, this system name B. So when I give the name B here in my system will do what? It will send the broadcast, NetBIOS broadcast. Now broadcast means what? It will go to everywhere. It will go to this machine also. It will go to all the other machines in the network. It will reach to all the machines in the network, and it will simply ask that who is B, whose name is B, whose name is machine B. Now nobody will answer it because they are not having a name B. This machine's name is B. So this machine will send the reply that yes, I am B, and this is my IP address. And then this machine knows the IP of the machine, of this machine B, and then it will send the request to this, send the data to this machine B. So it works on broadcast base. Now broadcast base means when you have a broadcast in the network will get slow. So whenever you are having a broadcast in the network gets slow. But NetBIOS works like that. It works like that, and it do broadcast. And this is what LM host resolution. Now it uses a broadcast, and broadcast do slow the network. So Windows did what? Windows introduced the Win server. Now this Win server means Windows Internet Naming Server. Windows Internet Naming Server. Now what this Win server do? It stores the NetBIOS name into it. That means all the machines which is in the network, it stores all the machines NetBIOS name in the server. Like this is A, and what is the IP of A machine name, then what is the name B, and what is the IP of that machine. So it stores all the names, NetBIOS name. Remember NetBIOS name of the machines within the network. So all the machines name, NetBIOS name will be stored into Win server. Now suppose if this A machine wants to connect the B machine, then what this machine will do, when you give when you type here, when you send any data, you type name B here in this machine, then what this machine will do, it will send. Now remember, the machine don't know the IP of that machine. You say connect B, but it does not know the B IP. What is the IP of the B machine? So what it will do, it will send the request to Win server. It will ask the Win server that who is B and what is the IP of that B. So Win server checks the database. It says okay, machine B having this IP. This is the IP of this machine, and it will send the reply that this machine B has this IP 1. Now your machine knows the IP address, then it will connect that IP directly. Now in this case there is no broadcast, and there is no chances of having network slow. So your network will not get slow, and you will connect the machine directly, and you will know the you don't have to remember the name, you don't have to remember the IP address. You can connect with the name, and the name will be resolved by the Win server. So this is what Win server, and it is Windows Internet Naming Server. But it will not work on internet. It was not work on internet. That's why now Windows is also not using this Win, because it is not worked on internet. Now in internet environment, NetBIOS name have a problem, like you can have only 14 character capital and straight name. You cannot have a hierarchical name. So problem with that is that if you use one name here for one machine, then you cannot use anywhere the name. Like if you're using if you're using the NetBIOS name on internet, that means if I use this name A here on my machine, then I cannot use the same name anywhere in the world to any machine. Now it is not possible. So this Win server, this Win was working in Windows environment for the local use, but for internet environment and a big network, it fails. So Windows also use now DNS. So DNS came And DNS is what? Domain naming system, and it do what? It do provide the same way of name resolution like this Win server do. So in place of Win server, nowadays we have DNS. And we have DNS servers. Now DNS server also has the same database like Win. It has the name and IP database of the all machines in the network. And when any machine wants to get the IP address of some name, then it will send the request to DNS, and DNS server, in reply, DNS server will send the IP of that machine. So it works like same Win, but the difference is it is not storing the NetBIOS name. It is having its own name structure, and that is hierarchical name structure. That means you are having the domain name first, and then you are having the machine name. So DNS is having the fully qualified domain names. It is not having the NetBIOS name. And NetBIOS names, fully qualified domain names, are like combination of domain name and the machine name. So if suppose my machine name is www, so my domain name can be different. For example, I will say Google. Now this is what hierarchical name structure. Google.com. So in this way, this www, I can have anywhere in the world, multiple users can have www name, but they can have different domain name. So with the hierarchical name structure, you can have different names, yet you can have same names, but you can have different domains. You can go more hierarchical. You can have main domain, then you have subdomain, then you have subdomain, then you have the domain, then you have the machine name. So it is suitable for the Windows environment where we have different domain trees for the big environment. So when you are having a big environment, it is not easy to handle it in single network. So Microsoft domain is also divided into different domain trees and forest. In the forest you have multiple different domain trees, and in the domain trees you have multiple different domains: child domain, parent domain, and parent domain. So you can have different name for every domain, and you can have different you have machine names for every domain, and you can easily identify the machine, where the machine is located in which domain, by using the domain names. So basically this hierarchical give more features, and because of this hierarchical structure of DNS is widely used in internet. So on in internet, if you want to resolve any name, you are using the DNS, and you are using the DNS name. Like when you give www.google.com, so actually you are accessing the server which is name is www, and that is under the google.com domain. So it is easy for resolving. Now our Windows 10 supports all of this. That means is still our machine has the host file, and is still first it will look for host file. So whenever you give any name, it will go for host file first, and it will look for the host file that is there any record for this name or not. But right now, nowadays the host files are empty. So if you type any name, there is no record in the host file, but still our machine looks for the host file. This is the first step for resolving the name. Then second step is to try the NetBIOS or DNS. NetBIOS name or LM host names are still working in the Windows environment. So if you are having two machines connected together, you are not having Win server or DNS server, still you can connect them by using the name. You can access them by using the name, because it is still using the NetBIOS. Then it will go for DNS. Now Win servers are not used, only if you are having old applications in the environment and which works with the Win server. So they keep this Win server, otherwise everyone is using the DNS. Nobody is using the Win server. So first, still our machine look for the host file, and if it is no record, then it will go for DNS. And if there is no DNS server available, then it will say no found, error. So still our machine looks for the host file, then it is go for the DNS, and also it will go for NetBIOS. If it is not having any DNS IP, then it will go for NetBIOS name resolution. So still our Windows 10 supports all these options to resolve the name. So still our machine try to resolve the name with the host file. If it is not able to find, then it will go for DNS. And actually before the host file, it do check the cache, DNS cache. So when any time it will resolve the name from DNS, it will do cache in the in our machine's cache memory. So first actually our machine checks the cache. If the record is available under the cache, then it will directly resolve from there. And if it is not under the cache, then it will look for the host file. And if the host file is also not have, then it will go for the DNS server. And then it will go for the local host name. Now DNS. So as I said, DNS is a service that manages the resolution of host names to IP address. Now Microsoft provides a DNS server role on Windows Server 2012 R2 or now Windows Server 2016 that you can use to resolve host names in your organizations. So typically you will deploy multiple DNS servers in your organizations to help improve both the performance and the reliability of name resolutions. So we can configure the DNS protocol. It is a protocol, and we can configure this as a role, as a service role on Windows Server 2012, and nowadays we are having Windows Server 2016. So we can configure this service as a role on Windows servers, and we can even create multiple servers, multiple DNS servers, so that if one server fails, other servers will reply. So it will be improve the performance and also reliability of name resolution. Now the structure of DNS server. So if you look into the DNS server, so the structure of DNS server is like the DNS namespace consists of hierarchy of domains and subdomains. So as I said, it supports the hierarchical name structure, which contains domains and subdomains. And a DNS zone is a specific portion of that namespace that resides on a DNS server in a zone file. And DNS uses both forward and reverse lookup zones to satisfy name resolution request. So zones are the portion of the namespace where it stores the records in DNS server. And we have two zones. We have forward zone and also we have reverse zone. And in those forward and reverse zone, it has all the records to satisfy the name resolution request from the client. Now first is the forward zone. Forward zone, this forward lookup zone are capable of hosting a number of different record types. The most common record type in forward lookup zone is an A record, also known as a host record. And this record is used when resolving a host name to an IP address. Record types in forward lookup zones are include A, SRV, MEX, MX and CNAME. In this, the most common record is A host record. It is actually the record when you try to get the IP of any name. That means when you type any name and your request will go to the DNS server for IP address. So it is what the host A record, which has all the record of this name. So in host A record, you have all the name to IP records. That means name and IP. So your names are stored there with the IP address in the host A record. Then there is another record which is SRV record. It is actually services record. These services records are used to locate domains, controllers and global catalog servers and all the other services available in Windows domain environment. So Windows domain environment, in the Windows domain environment, the DNS is very important. DNS is very important because all the services records for the domain is stored into the DNS, and Windows Active Directory domain and DNS domain are tightly integrated. That means you cannot create Active Directory domain without without DNS. So your name resolution, namespace are same as the DNS domain and the Microsoft Active Directory domain. Both are same. So they are tightly integrated because all the services records stores into this DNS server with SRV record. Then MX records are for the mail exchange records. These are used to locate the mail servers responsible for a domain. So it has the record of mail server. So if you are having a mail server in your domain, so the mail server's name and IP address will be stored with this MX record. Then you have CNAME. CNAME is a canonical name record. It is called CNAME records. It resolved to another host name, also referred to as a name alias. So basically it is an alias of the different name. Like suppose if you are having a machine with have a name of PC1 or we can say server 1. Now that server is our web server, and also the same server is our mail server. So what I can do, I can create the CNAME for these two mail servers and web server. Suppose someone wants to access the web server, so the same server 1 name I will make as web 1. So if anyone wants to access as a web server, it will give the name web 1, but the actual name is still server 1. Now if that server is the same mail server, it is also a mail server for us. So if someone want to access it as a mail server, so I want them to access it like mail 1. So I can create the CNAME for that also. So if anyone wants to access it for the mail, so it will access by the name of mail 1. And if anyone wants to access it for the web server, so they will access by the name web 1. But the real name of the machine is server 1. So server 1 is the real name, and web 1 and mail 1 will be the alias, and that record is stored with the CNAME record. You know, when you access any site, you will give www.google.com. So www is mostly the alias for that server. The real name of the server is different, and you are accessing with www. www is mostly the alias. It is CNAME, which is stored in the forward zone of the DNS. So forward zone basically has a record which resolve the name to IP request. So when you send the request for name and you want to get the IP, so your request will be resolved by the forward zone. Then you have reverse zone. This reverse zone, the reverse lookup zone contain PTR records. This PTR records, that means pointer records. These PTR records are used to resolve IP addresses to host name. And in an organization typically has control over the reverse lookup zone for its internal network. However, an ISP could be managing some PTR records for external IP addresses obtained from the ISP. So this reverse lookup zone has the records of IP to name. That means you will send the request for IP for the name, and you send the IP to DNS server. That means you send the IP to DNS server and you want to get the name of the IP. So those records will be stored into reverse lookup zone, and those records stored with the PTR record. It stores as a PTR record in reverse zone. So reverse zone resolve IP to name, and forward zone resolve name to IP. Mostly we use always forward zone. We don't use reverse zone. Reverse zones are rarely used. because always when you know the IP address, you don't want to get the name. You can directly connect with the IP. But if you don't know the IP, you only know the name, then you have to send a request to DNS to get the IP, and you will get the IP from forward zone. But if you already know the IP, then you don't need to send any request to DNS because you already know the IP. So reverse zone is hardly used. How names are resolved in DNS with DNS. Resolving DNS names on the internet involves an entire system of computers, not just a single server. So there are hundreds of servers on the internet called root servers, which manages the overall process of DNS resolution. And there are 13 FQDNs represent these servers, and a list of these 13 FQDNs is preloaded on each DNS server. So when you register a domain name on the internet, you are paying to become part of this system. So in an internet, how it works, how these names are resolved. So as you see in the image, like you are here in this machine, your workstation, you are sitting here and you are having an internet connection. Now you want to go to some site, for example Microsoft.com. You want to go to Microsoft.com. So you say, what is the IP address of this Microsoft.com? You don't know. But you don't know because you don't use the IP address. You use the name. So what you do, you open the browser, you type this name www.microsoft.com. Now your machine thinks like this is the name, but what is the IP? It does not know. So your machine says, what is the IP address of this www.microsoft.com? Now first your machine will do what? It will check the host file. So first it will check the host file whether any record is there for this name. Now there is no record. By default there is no record. Always there is no record in the host file. It is empty. So next what it will do? It will look for DNS, whether your machine is having any DNS or not. So if your machine is having any DNS IP and it knows the DNS server, then it will send a record to DNS server for resolution. Now when you connect the internet, you will get the DNS server IP, and you will get it from the Windows, your ISP, your service provider. So the service providers has their own DNS servers which they do use to resolve the names. Basically those servers are caching only servers. They don't have any record, they do only cache. So still your query will go to that DNS server. Now if you are not having any DNS server, then your machine will say no record found, and you will say the error, name resolution error, host not found. But if you are having an internet connection, then you must have a DNS server IP. So what your machine will do, it will send the request to that local DNS server. So local DNS server, workstation queries the local DNS server for the IP address of this machine, this name. Now what the local DNS server will do? Now this is the normal DNS server. So this normal DNS server checks the name first, and it will check what is the domain name here. What is the domain name? That means Microsoft.com. If you see, this is the fully qualified domain name. Fully qualified domain name, that means it is machine name including domain name. So www is what? The machine name, dot Microsoft.com is the domain name. So it will do what? It will try to check what is the domain name first. Now it says okay, the domain name is Microsoft.com. Now this DNS server says, this DNS server checks, this local DNS server checks that whether I am the authorized person, authorized server, authorized DNS server for this domain or not. Now authorized DNS server means what? It must have this domain's zone files. Those zone files like forward lookup zone, reverse lookup zones. So if this DNS server has a zone of this domain Microsoft.com, then it will say I am the authorized DNS server. And if it is not having the zone files for this domain, that means it is not an authorized DNS server. Now authorized DNS server means it can only answer yes or no. It will check the name and it will say whether it is having the record, and if the record is not there, then it will say no. Nobody else can answer. This server is the authorized server to answer. But if it is not an authorized server, then it will say, okay, I am not authorized, but I can find the name for you. And it can do the recursive query. It is called recursive query. It will do what? It will not have a record, and it is not an authorized server, so it will find the record for you. Now this DNS server checks that is it Microsoft.com is my domain? No, it is not its domain. It is from Microsoft. This is what your local ISP, and it does not have any domain name here. So what it do? It will send the query to the root hint DNS servers. Now this is the top level DNS server of the DNS environment in internet. This is the root DNS server. So in an internet we are having these 13 root hint servers available in for different reasons, and all those DNS servers, root hint servers, name and IPs are stored into every DNS server. Every DNS server, that means if you configure your own DNS server for your environment, also that DNS server knows about that 13 root hint servers, so that if any query comes for the unauthorized query comes, then it will send the request to root hint server. So when this domain is not the domain for this DNS server, then it will send the query to root hint server, and these root hint servers name and IP address are available in the every DNS server. So it will send the query to root hint server. Now this root hint server do what? It is the dot server also, we can say. When you give any name www.microsoft.com, at the end of the name there is a dot which we don't write, but there is a dot, and this is also called this root hint server. It is also represented by that dot, which we don't mention normally. So what it do here? Now this root hint DNS server is a special server. It is not a normal DNS server. So it will not give you the answer. It will always give you reference. It will not give you answer. It always give you the reference for the other DNS server. Now what this root hint server checks? It will check the name here, www.microsoft.com. So what it will check? It will check this. What is it? The domain name is microsoft.com. So what is this? It will check the last part, whether it is com, .com, .org, .edu, .gov. So these are what? These are top level DNS servers. So in an internet DNS environment there are top level DNS servers which has represented by these names: com for commercial use, net for network, gov for governments, edu for educations, and org for organizations. So these are different top level DNS servers available in the internet environment. So what root hint server do? It will check what is it? Is it com? Is it net? Is it org? Is it edu? Is it gov? So this time it is what? .com. So what root hint server will do? It will give the reference. It says that go to this com server. Now this com server, that means what is the nearest com server you have within your region. So it will give the IP address of that com server available in your region to this DNS server. To this DNS server, this local DNS server. Remember, our query is still waiting. We have sent the query, but still waiting because this DNS server is doing the resolution for us. So it will get the reference of com server from the root hint server. Now your domain, this DNS server will send the query, again this name query, to this com server. Now if it is com server, it will go to com. If it is the net server .net, so it will go to .net server. If it is gov for governments, so it will go for gov. edu for education, so it will go for that DNS server. Now this time it is what? Com, so it will go to com server. Now this .com server, it is an also special DNS server. It is not normal DNS server. It will only answer in reference. It will not give you any answer. It will only give you reference. Now this com server will check that what is the domain name. Microsoft. What is the domain name? So this domain name is available in that record for this domain name is available in this com server or not. Now how the record comes in the com server? This record will come when you register your domain name. Now you may have heard about that you are purchasing the site or you are opening the site, you are registering the site and you are registering the domain. So basically when you register your site or domain, so your domain name is registered into this com servers or whatever the site you are having. Basically com is for commercial. So you will get your sites with .com or .net. You will not get site for .gov. Gov is for government use. So all the government sites are stored and registered in the .gov DNS server. Educational sites goes to edu. So basically will be com. So when you register your site, your record of the domain will go to this com server. Now what record you will have in that com server? The record of your DNS server and your domain name. It will be stored there that this is the domain name Microsoft and this is the DNS server IP of that Microsoft. So if anyone wants to get the DNS server or get the access of Microsoft, so this com server will give the IP address of that DNS server of Microsoft, the authorized DNS server of Microsoft. So when you register your domain, your records will go to the com server or net server or any other top level DNS server, and your records are like your name and domain, your domain name and your DNS server's record. Your DNS server's IPs are there. So now if you don't register, then what? Your query, your names are not there, and suppose you are trying to access it, from here you will get the error that these records are not there, and then this server will send the error that the record is not found. So when you have a registered domain, your records are there in this top level DNS servers. So now in this Microsoft.com, there is a record there in the com server and it is having the DNS server IP in this com server. So what this server do, it will send the reference. It will send the reference to this local DNS server that you can go to this DNS server. And this is the DNS server of Microsoft.com. Now this is the DNS server of Microsoft.com. That means this DNS server is having the record of the Microsoft.com zone. So it is having the forward lookup zone and reverse lookup zone for this Microsoft.com, and that means this is the authorized DNS server. So this DNS server's records available under the com server, and the records will be sent to this DNS server. Now this DNS server will do what? It will get the DNS name, DNS IPs for the Microsoft, then it will send the query to this DNS server. Now this DNS server do what? This is normal DNS server. It is available in the Microsoft Office and in their buildings, and they are having their own DNS server. So what? It is having the zone files of this domain, and this is the authorized domain. It is the authorized DNS server. So what it will do? It will check the name again. It is the normal server, so it will check the name again. And now it will say what is the domain name? Microsoft.com. And what the domain name, zone domain name I have. So this domain zone file, it has Microsoft.com zone. So this DNS server says that okay, I am the authorized DNS server and only I can answer and nobody else can answer. Now when it is authorized DNS server, then it will check the name. Then it will check what is the machine name. In this name, it is the fully qualified domain name. So this www is the machine name and .domain name is Microsoft.com. So what is the machine name? Now this DNS server will check, and it will check its records that whether I have this name IP or not. So if it is having the record, then it will say the record, will give the record. and if it is not having the record, then it will deny. It will say no record found. Now because the site is hosted there in the Microsoft, so the records are there in the microsoft.com. Let's say for example this is the IP address of that server which has the name of www. So it will give that name, give that IP to this local DNS server. Now after all these queries, our queries was pending. So this the local DNS server now reply and give the answer to our machine with this IP address. It will send this IP address to our machine. Now our machine will directly connect this IP address to get the web page of microsoft.com. So this is how it works in internet environment. Now when local server gets the IP address, it do what? It caches the name and IP in its own DNS server cache, so that next time when someone else try to access the same name, it don't have to do all of these things and it can reply from the cache. But caches are temporary. When you reboot the system, the caches will remove. And when your machine also get the record, it will also cache, so that next time when you give the name again, it will not have to do this thing again. It will get it from the cache. And you can also this cache can also be cleared. When you reboot, your cache will be cleared. So when there is no record there, then it will do the whole thing here. So it's a long process for resolving the name in internet environment. And these are the steps. So finally the local DNS server returns the result to workstation. Now we can test the name resolution. So how we can test? I will show you this. We can use this NSLOOKUP. We have different tools. We have different tools to do this. We have NSLOOKUP in Windows. We have a resolve DNS of PowerShell command. We can also do what? We can use NSLOOKUP-D command to use the records, to save the records, the answer into this file, so that you can later check the file. So let's see how we can see this by using these commands. Now this is our machine, and if suppose we want to resolve it from the internet, we must connect to the internet. You see, we are connected to internet. Let's check it in our network and sharing center. So I will go to control panel, network and sharing center. Now it is saying access type is internet and we are connected to internet. Now when you check the adapter setting, when we check the status and detail of, and here you can see IPv4 for connectivity, and it is connected to internet. So when you see the details, you can see the IP addresses are there. We are having the DNS server IP also available. Remember, you have to have the DNS server IP to use the DNS, and also you have to have the gateway IP so that you can get out from your network. Otherwise you are not able to get out from your network. These gateway IPs are of the routers which is sitting on your gate, so that you can go outside of your network. So your network is this 192.168.0.0, and you want to go out of your network, then you have to go through the gateway. So to have an internet connection, you must have these two things. These two things are very important: your gateway IP and your DNS IP. If any of these IPs are not there, you will not be able to get the internet. Let's, for example, I will remove it. I will go to the properties, IPv4, and let's say I will change the DNS. I will remove the DNS IP. Okay, it is still there. Now I will change it. It's again go back. I will change it. No, basically I should have saved it first. Is it saved? It is cached. You have to mention some IP. Let me do some fake IP here. Now that is not the right DNS server IP. Now if you try to access anything, let's say I want to access Facebook. If you are having the name under the cache, only then you can access it. It is under the cache. These sites are under the cache of this browser, so it is accessing these sites. These are very famous sites. So if there is in the cache, then you will get the access. Otherwise you have to provide the IP address to connect the internet. You will not able to do that by using the name. You can see these are very common sites. These are already there in the browser. IP addresses of these sites are already in the browser, so that you don't have to do the whole process. So when the browser says that they are fast, so basically they are using the cache. They are having the cache for those names, so that they don't have to do the everything again. The name resolutions of the all thing, they can just connect them. Then gateway is also important. So if you are not having a gateway, then your machine will not connect internet. I will give the same IP address 192.168.1.6, but I will not give the gateway. Now when you are not having the gateway, you can see there is no internet. No internet. There is no internet connection. So gateway is very important. And DNS, if you are not having DNS, then you have to give IP address to connect. And if you give IP address, you can connect. But if you are not having the gateway, then you are not able to connect. So I will make it to Optane automatic. So I am having the connected network. So it is getting the IP from the DHCP and it is getting the IP address properly. And now when you get all these DNS and gateway, then you get the internet connected. Now you will try to resolve the names. So when you give any name, like for example I want to connect www.facebook.com. So basically what I am doing, I am giving the fully qualified domain name. Fully qualified domain name, that means this is the machine name and this is the domain name. And when I press enter, it will do the process to get the name. Now if you want to check the IP address of this machine, this name, then we can use the ping command. We open the CMD command prompt. I am running as an administrator. Now here, if you use the ping command is to check the connectivity to the other machine. So if you want to check that whether the other machine is connected or not, for example my gateway, I want to see whether I am connected to my gateway or not. So I will use this ping command with the IP address of that gateway. And when I get the reply, that means I am connected. Now see what happens. I am getting the reply. So when you use the ping command, it sends 4 packets to that IP, 4 requests. Now if the IP is there, if the machine is there, then it will give the reply, and if the machine is not there, then it will not give you any reply. So the gateway is there and it is connected, so I receive 4 packets back. My machine sends 4 packets and receive 4 packets, and this is what we receive. We receive the reply from this machine. The size of the received packet, it is 32 bytes, time it was taken, and TTL is 64. So we receive 4 packets. Now if you ping any IP which is not there, then you will not get the reply. Like I will ping some IP 150. Now this is not present. So what it is saying here, it is not there. It is saying destination host unreachable. Now it is saying I am getting the reply from this IP. This is my own IP. So my own machine is saying that I cannot reach this IP because it is not present, it is not there. So when you ping anyone, any IP, so your machine will send 4 packets and try and wait for the reply. And if the machine is there, then it will get the reply. And if the machine is not there, then it will get the error like destination host unreachable, or mostly you will get timeout, request timeout. Now I want to see whether I am connected to this site, that means this server or not. So I will do what? I will also use ping www.facebook.com. Now you see I am connected and I am getting the reply. My machine sends the 4 packets and my machine receives the 4 packets. Now you can see the IP address of that machine. So we are using the name, but the IP address of that name is this. We can verify. I am copying this name, this IP, and instead of name I will give that IP in the browser. I am giving the same IP, I am not giving the name, and you can see it is taking me to the same site. So instead of name I gave the IP. So when you give the IP address, it will directly take you to the site. So this site, this server's IP is this. That means on this server, this website is hosted. So when you see the site, it is actually hosted on this site and this server. Now we can use to resolve the name by using the nslookup command. So I can use nslookup. This command is used to resolve the names of different sites or different servers. So if I give www.facebook.com and when I press enter, now you will see here what it is saying. It is saying that this is your server, this is my DNS server who is replying me, and the name for the server is unknown because it is the Wi-Fi router we have. This is my internet router which is sending me the reply. So it is the DNS server for me. Now what it is replying here is non-authoritative answer. Remember, it is not authoritative because this DNS server which is replying me is not the DNS server of this facebook.com. So it is not authorized to reply. It is giving me unauthoritative answer. It is non-authoritative answer it is giving me. And what it is giving me here is that this is the name of the machine and this is the IP of the machine. This is IPv6 and this is IPv4 which we have already seen. So you can see the real name of the machine is this. Now what we see is the alias here. You can see this is the alias, that is the C name. So www.facebook.com is the C name, the www is the C name and the real name for the machine is this. And this is the domain name. So we can use this ns lookup to resolve the names of any name. Like I will say google.com. So again it is non-authoritative answer, and it is showing me this is the name of the machine and this is the IP of the machine. Now there is no alias for this, it is giving me directly, so this is the direct name, this is not an alias. So we can use this command, or we can use PowerShell command also to do the resolution. For that I will open the PowerShell. And I will give command resolve DNS name www.facebook.com, and it is showing the resolution. It is saying in detail, it is showing me in detail, and you can see it is saying that this is the name and this is the C name, because it is www.facebook.com. The real name is this. So this is what, this is the C name type of record. So this is the name, query type is this, TTL is this, section is this, and this is IPv6. Now when you have IPv6, then it is AAAA. When you have IPv4, it is single A. IPv6 is 4 times A, and IPv4 is single A record. So this is IPv6 record, and this is IPv4 record, and this is the IPv4 of this name. This is the real name. Then it is also showing you that authorized DNS server who is the authorized for this domain. It is also showing the DNS server name for this domain. This is the name of the DNS server, and this is NS record. NS means name servers, and these are authority DNS servers for this domain. This is the real name of that DNS server, and these are the DNS server name and IP addresses. These are the names of those DNS servers and IP addresses of those DNS servers, IPv4 and IPv6. So it is also showing you in PowerShell that who are the authorized DNS servers for this domain. So this is what we do, name resolution. Now one more thing, I have told you that host files are still there in our system and it is still used. So if you are having any records in the host file, then it will be resolved first from the host file. It will not go for DNS, it will first check in the host file. So host files are still there in our system, and it will be there if you want to see where is the host file. So it is under C drive, under the Windows, under System 32, and under System 32 you have a drivers directory. Now under drivers directory you have etc, and under etc you are having host file here. So the location for the host file is your C drive, Windows, System 32, drivers, etc, and this is your host file. If you open the file in Notepad, now you can see there is no record, but it is showing you that how you can add the records. You can add the record like this, name and IP address. So you can see there is, it's saying that IP and name, you have to add it like this. But these records, these are not available, these are not active, these are commented. If you can see here, let me increase the font. Okay, Now you can see these lines are commented. These lines are commented, that means these are not used. So system is not using these lines. It is giving you the example that how you can add the name. So if you have any record here in this file, then it will not check for DNS. It will check this file and it will try to resolve it from here. Now if suppose you are having the record, but it is not editable now because of the security, because some viruses can do what, they can override some important sites name and IP here, so that they can redirect you to some fake sites. So now for security it is not editable. For example, if I say 127.0.0.1 is the IP and the name of the site is www.face, it is not that important site, but again I'm just giving you example. So if I do this, that means this is what 127. Now 127 is the loopback IP. So loopback IP, that means it will loop inside your system, it will not go outside. So when I give this name and IP, that means facebook.com means this IP. So whenever you try to access this facebook.com, it will not able to access the facebook.com. It will always go for loop, and it will loop inside your system and it will not reach the facebook.com, because it will not check the DNS. It will always check the host file first, and it will get the record from here. It will not able to connect this site. You can also give the wrong IP here. So when you try to connect this site, you will go to some other site. So attackers or hackers do that. They create viruses to update these names, change these names in the IPs here in the host file. That is why it is not editable now. So if suppose I try to save the file here, it says you cannot save, you have to save it somewhere else. It is not allowing me to save the file. It is saying that you can do save as, but you cannot save it the file, you cannot edit the file directly. So I cannot edit the file directly. So normal users don't have permission to edit, but we can edit it by using the administrator's permission. I will do this. I will open the notepad. I will right click on it and I will say I want to run as administrator. Now this notepad is running as administrator. Now what I will do, I will open the file in this notepad. I will go to file and open, and then I will go to the location, drivers, under etc, and it is not showing any file because these files does not have any extension. So I will say all files, and this is the file. So I can open the file now, and now because I have opened it as an administrator, I can edit it. And now I am going to add a fake IP here for that site. I am adding the fake IP. Now I will save it. Now you can see it is allowing me to save. And now you see what happens when I try to ping facebook.com. Now you see I am getting the reply from this IP, the IP which is there in the host file. It is not going for DNS for the real IP. If it is going for the DNS, it will get the real IP. Real IP is this one. Okay, I have cleared it. Real IP is this. This is the real IP. But it is not showing real IP. It is showing what? The fake IP from the host file. That means if you open the browser and if you try to access the site, now you are seeing problem here because you are not able to access the site because you are going to the wrong IP. you are going to the wrong IP. Your machine is trying to access it from the wrong IP and it is not able to access because it is checking the host file and the host file is giving the wrong IP. So still our machine is checking the host files, and that is why it is getting the wrong information. So I will remove this and save again. Now there is nothing in the host file. So when you try to get the site, it will give you the right site. That means when you ping the site, when you try to connect, you are getting the right IP. So that means what? It is still checking the host file to get the resolution of name. If it is no record in the host file which is default, then it will go for DNS server. When DNS server do resolve the name, it do cache also. So view and clear the name cache. So if you are having the DNS server cache is always there. So you can do what? You can view the cache of DNS and you can clear the cache also. So if you can do it by using the PowerShell, or even you can do it from the CMD command. So open the PowerShell and run the following command and press enter to clear the cache. So first, if suppose you want to see the DNS cache, so in the normal CMD command you will give ipconfig/display DNS. It will show you the DNS cache. Or in PowerShell you will give command get DNS client cache, and for clearing the cache you give ipconfig in the CMD with /flush DNS, and in the PowerShell you will give command clear DNS client cache, and it will clear the cache. Let's see. So anytime when you resolve, your machine is caching those names and IP addresses in the DNS cache. So in CMD command we give IP config. This command is to check the current IP address information, and it will also show you the DNS cache. Display DNS, and these are the all cached names and IP addresses we have in our local machine cache. And you can see these names and IP addresses we have right now, just right now we have accessed. So these are all cached. So if you want to clear the cache, then you can run flush DNS, or in PowerShell you can run get DNS client cache, and these are the cache records. These are the names, record names, record types, status, sections, and time to leave, and date, and dates are this side. So these are the records we are having in the cache, and if you want to clear the cache, so we will do it in the command line. We will do it by using the flush DNS option, flush DNS, and it will clear the cache. Or in PowerShell we can use clear DNS client cache. Both will do the same thing. When you run now get DNS cache, and you will see nothing. You are seeing something is there, but this is just right now. In background your machine is doing lots of things, so it is doing these things to connect. So just right now it get this record, and in this also you are having these only 2 records. So all the other records we have resolved, they have now cleared. So this is to clear the cache. So this is to see the cache and clear the cache, and this is how the name resolution works in Windows 10. And these are the name resolution. We have DNS, we previously had host files, NetBIOS resolutions, we had Win servers also, but now we have DNS servers. but still our system, our Windows 10 still uses the host file to resolve. So if the records are there, it will be resolved from there, otherwise it will go for the DNS server. And this is how the name resolution works in Windows 10.